Hello everyone. Today we are going to build these patterns in JavaScript. So here I have used this percentage symbol. Instead of using these symbols, we can also use our desired numbers or our desired letters. So let us dive into the code right now. Welcome back. Here I have this patterns.html file and I'm using this inline JavaScript. So let us observe our first pattern. So in this pattern we have these 4 rows and 4 columns. Let us try to print the 4 rows. So for that I'm using this for loop and I'm initializing here. So let's say variable a equals to 1 and a less than or equals to 4, and then a is incremented by 1, and then just document dot write, that is the pattern that to be the thing that to be printed in the pattern. So I'm using this percentage symbol and let us run our code. So here is our preview. Here our rows, the loop that we have used to iterate the rows are printed one by one in the horizontal direction, but these should be printed in the vertical direction. So in order to do that, here we are going to use the HTML break tag. So document.write, let us use this break. Okay, and let us see. So here we have these 4 rows. That 4 rows are represented by each of these percentage symbol. So it is enough if we print the 4 columns. So in each row there should be 4 columns. So in order to print those four columns, the code required will be in the place of this document.write statement. In order to print this percentage symbol for 4 times in a row, I am using this for loop. So for variable b equals to 1 and b is less than or equals to 4, and then b is incremented by 1. So here let us print that document dot write percentage symbol and let us run our code. So here is it. So this outer for loop is representing the rows in a pattern, and this inner for loop is representing the columns in a pattern. So we have printed this first pattern and let us go to the second pattern. Here we have this triangle pattern. So let us try to print that. So I'm commenting out this code for now, and here I'm also, let us observe the pattern once. So here there are 4 rows and 4 columns. Let us think these empty spaces as the blank spaces. In the first row there is only 1 column, and in the second row there are 2 columns, and in the third row there are 3, and then fourth there are 4. So if we observe the pattern here, that is the mathematical pattern I'm talking about, that is series. The first row will have only 1 column. That means the number of rows will have the same number of columns. So here we have a program to print the number of the rows and columns. So just uncomment that, and I'm copying that and I am reusing that code. So here we have this square. Now in the first row that is iterated by this for loop, there should be only 1 column, so that will be printed and that will be decided by this loop. So here b, the condition for this b should be less than or equals to a. That's it. So here when a is 1, that b can also be 1, and if that a is 2 and b will also be 2, and that prints two percentage symbols. So let us see our code. Yeah, that's giving the same result as this. So I'm commenting this also, and let us try to print this third pattern, that is also the triangle, but this is the reverse thing of the second pattern. So let us observe the pattern here. So here also there are 4 rows, and in the 4 rows there are different number of columns. So in the first row there are 4 columns, in the second row there are 3 columns, and in the third row there are 2 columns, and in the last row there is 1 column. So if we observe here, this first row is having 5 minus 1 columns, and this second row is having 5 minus 2 columns, and this third row is having 5 minus the number of rows, that is 3. So 5 minus 3, that is 2 columns, and in the fourth one 5 minus 4, that is 1 column. So let us modify the same code here that we have used previously to print those patterns. So here this is representing the rows and this is representing the columns. So we have variation in columns but not in rows. So in the first row, so when that is A, then this B, so always our modification will be in this condition. So when A equals to 1, there should be 4 things. That means 4 columns. So there I'm using this 5 minus A. So let us try to run. Yeah, that prints this. Okay, let us dive into the fourth column, and it is the pyramid pattern. So let us try to observe the pattern first. So here also there are 4 rows and there are different number of columns. So if we observe this pattern is similar to this pattern that we have printed for the second time. So only the difference is the number of spaces before the symbols that we use it to print the columns. So here I'm going to reuse the code that we have used for the second pattern, and I'm pasting that here, and let me uncomment that out. So here it is perfect that we have this pattern, so it is enough if we add some spaces. So let us find the series to add those spaces. In the first row there are 3 spaces, so these 3 spaces can be identified by this. So here there is no space, here there is 1, and there are 2 here, and there are 3 here. So what will be the pattern or the series that we have to follow to print this? So it is enough if we print, that means if we add the block of code to print the spaces here without using our HTML break tag. So let us see that. In the first row there should be 3 spaces, in the second row there should be 2 spaces, and in the third row there should be 1. Yeah, here is it. So in the first row, this 4 minus this number of rows are the spaces that are required to print before that. So in the second row, 4 minus the number of rows is the number of spaces that we are going to print here. And in the third row also, 4 minus 3 and that returns 1 and that one space should be printed there. So let us go here. So for I'm going to create one more for loop, variable c, let's say, and 1 and c, or let us give that, so let us give that condition in just a minute, and c plus plus. So here should be the code, and c is less than or equals to, that is just 4 minus a, and there we are going to print the spaces. So to print those spaces I'm going to use this ampersand nbsp, or its element of html. Let us try to run this. Oh, it's not running. Why it has gone to that infinite loop? Oh, sorry for the thing, there is problem with my browser, so I have rerun the code that returns the same thing. So I have used this code to print this pattern. So we have printed all these patterns. Here we can also use our desired numbers or desired letters in the place of this. So if I use a here, uh, is that, yeah, that prints all that is. So if I remove that quotation marks, there it gives 1 2 3 4, that is because of the value of a. So make sure to subscribe for more videos, and if you have any doubts, let me know them in the comment section. I will answer them as possible as I can, and don't forget to like the video.